we've generated 120K for my client in the past 3 weeks.
And how much money did you make from that?
I made around 25 to 30K from that. How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right. So I know we started working together like 3 months ago. Run me through your entire story, right? Like, so tell me where you were at in the beginning, and then where you're at now.
So, in the beginning, I was kind of all sorts of places. I started my business around 5 months ago, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really, deliver. That's when I started around client acquisition, and then got my first client, and didn't really know really what to do. So, for some information, I am a growth partner for medical clinics, and I run a business called Noveris Global, and we basically help do everything from basically change the infrastructure for medical clinics from A to Z and help them grow as a business and get more patients through and help them scale other markets. And yeah, it's a very difficult niche, and I didn't really have a marketing agency before, so this is my complete first time. So I had to learn everything from scratch. And recently, we have hit, we've generated 120K for my client, one of my clients, which is my only client in the past 3 weeks.
And how much money did you make from that?
I made around 25 to 30K from that.
Beautiful. Okay, so you'll be averaging anywhere between 20 and 30K for the following months. That's amazing. Beautiful. And then what was that like, man? Because like, dude, I saw you go from like freaking out. Like, there's so many fires because of this unique niche, right? There's so many unique caveats with making it work as far as service delivery that we had to work through so much, right? So what was it like finally seeing the clients get results and then finally making money from it?
I mean, feels crazy. I mean, for me, business was not more like a financial incentive, which most business owners are. For me, it was more about proving it that I can create my own business, right? And more so, I can provide value for other people, other businesses. And yeah, it feels crazy because I was struggling a lot in the beginning, not being able to, feeling like I had a capability to do it, but not being able to actually do it. And then you kind of helped me out here. You're essentially kind of like the brain of my business, helping me, like a true mentor, helping me guide uh, my entire, my business forward and helping me move in the right directions. And I think the biggest thing for me that I personally feel as most valuable from you is how you kind of completely shifted my paradigm. So, growing up and going to school, currently attending college right now, very like it was a very academic mindset I grew up with. You know what I mean? So, you kind of had one shot to succeed, for example, right? You had a test that you would study for and you had one shot to do it right. But that type of mindset cannot be applied to business, and that's what you helped me uncover. You helped me uncover that part of me that I have to think like a business owner instead of um, the academic mindset that I grew up, over 15 plus years of my life with, right? So it was that new shift in paradigm, new way of thinking that really I think helped my business move forward. And you know yourself too, Jess. When we first talked, like the conversations we had was shit that made you kind of sigh, right? Like it was not productive because you could clearly tell I was not thinking the right mindset. And from the moment, from then on, like the conversations we actually have now is way more than just like now we actually have productive conversations that actually move the business forward a lot, you know?
Right. Beautiful, man. And I'm curious too, before like most people that start what you started, they have such a big issue with booking appointments, right? Like it's one of the hardest things. So how are you able to actually get these guys on call? It's a unique niche. Like how are you able to even sell them, especially with no results?
The biggest thing for me was obviously the Loom system is amazing. The email system is it's a fucking killer. If you're, but the thing is like this email system will not work for everybody, and what I mean by that is if someone random takes this email system and starts launching it, it's not going to work for them because you have to craft everything, your stimuli, everything
Exactly.
around your yourself. And I think the biggest thing for me was being able to create an offer like no other, and just an irresistible offer, but not one of those, offers that are always being advertised by other agencies, such as, like we'll get you this much results and this, all of this stuff. A really actually unique and good offer that resonates with, different, with business owners. Um, and yeah, I think having full conviction in that is the biggest thing that has helped me.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm curious too, because I know you were an extreme outlier. What was your appointment booking rate when running Bloom emails?
It was like 9 to 10%. So when I first started my email system, I ran for it for like I started it for a week, and then I actually had to pause it within just 1 week because I had around like 30 sales calls booked with medical clinics. And I wanted to, first dial in my service delivery with one client
Mhm.
before ever, scaling and onboarding more clients. Yeah.
I see, got you. And I want to touch more like on the mindset side of things because and I have to give it to you, man. I think out of every client that I've had, I've never had somebody who has number one changed their mindset so quickly, but also got it to a point that is just I know nobody that works as hard as you, right? It's like you didn't even know how to run ads even just like let's say a year ago, right? But now, like I would trust you running our ads. You're incredible at it, right? So I guess my question is, how were you able to get that mindset so quickly, and how is that mindset serving you now?
Well, I think what's beautiful is how the mindset you have helped me shift in my paradigm translates to not just business as a whole, but everything within the business, right? So,
Right.
like for ads, for example, you could have that typical the mindset I had in the past, which was that the school system mindset where I would basically make sure everything is fucking perfect to the core, and before even testing and launching shit, I would basically try to hyper optimize everything, become a perfectionist without even having data to optimize from, and not even knowing what ads convert or not. So once I had that mindset shift, you know, like it changed everything for not just ads, but like everything. Now I'm more based on data, um, being faster, right? Like actually iterating from real data rather than my intuition of what I think would be perfect, right? And I think the mindset you have instilled in me just helped in so many different aspects, right? In business as a whole, how should I think about my entire business as a whole, right? Or how should I think about specific aspects, meta ads, uh, you know back end automations, messaging, funnels, it's literally everything. Like it all translates correctly, and I think that has helped me a lot.
Hmm. I'm curious too. Then, like 20 to 30K a month, right? Majority of people spend years trying to get there. Majority of people actually never even reach that. Like, you were able to get there within like 3 months, right? What do you think? Like during that 3 months of work specifically, because you ran businesses for longer than 3 months, obviously, right? What was the specific thing during those 3 months where things started to change for you? Like, what were the epiphanies there?
What do you mean by like? What do you mean by like what changed for me?
Because during those 3 months, like that's when I started to see big moves happen. That's when I started to see like, oh, this is a different Daniel, right? And that's when you finally broke through at the last month, and then things started to come through. So was there anything different then compared to the way you were operating a year ago?
I mean, 100%. I would not have been able to hit, like, I think what you have done, right, is kind of change the way I would work and change the way I would view things, right? If a problem came up,
Mhm.
my old self would view this as this way and act upon this way, but my new self would view it differently in a different lens with a new mindset and approach that differently, which has helped me tremendously, and it's literally, I've skipped the 10K, 0 to 10K a month, right? I've essentially jumped from zero to like what I am now within just 3 weeks, and found my proof of concept. And now I'm working on, operations and actually restarting client acquisition, taking on more clients, and like building a legit business. Because I mean, I've generated this much money with one client, and this kind of, now you're helping me out with dealing about how can I take my business from where it's at, right, and work on the operations side to even scale it like above and beyond, right?
100%. 100%. So then I'm curious too. Then, did you ever have a moment like where you're like, "This sucks. I want to quit." Like, when it got really, really hard, right? Were there any of those moments?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why didn't you quit?
Because you've I mean, that's a good question. Because for me, I could quit, right? Like, I have a very, financially well off background. I don't really need to be doing this, but we've talked about this, right? A lot of people, it's a financial motive to start a business. And it's, for most people that is, but for me, my case is a little different. I'm doing it for myself. And that's the kind of my core desire with me wanting to start my own business, to prove to myself that I am capable of being able to run a successful business, right? And I think that's, during times of failure, is the times that you've came up to me and you've reminded me what my actual core drive was. Because if someone is starting a business, they have a reason they're starting a business, whether it's financial or something else, right? And you've helped me realize, like, that I like, there is a reason for me to push forward, right? And also, you've taught me the mindset that failure is something you should be super excited about, because that those are the moments where a lot of people quit, right? Your competitors quit, and that's exactly where you build that motor on your business. And I'm in a hard fucking niche. Like, we've faced countless of problems, from restrictions to policy violations on average. It's one of the hardest niches, and obviously I was going crazy, but you've helped me stick myself out through those hard obstacles, and now we're seeing a really good return on
Beautiful.
everything.
Beautiful. Yeah, because I always say it's like, I think it's way harder to go from having absolutely nothing to being or it's no, it's way easier to go from having absolutely nothing and then to be
Absolutely.
successful, because you have
Absolutely.
daily pain and you have a daily reminder that you have to just get out of the shithole that you're in. It is 100 times harder to have absolutely everything, have really no logical maybe reason to do anything, but to still force yourself to commit and build. Because like humans operate from a realm of pain. And if you don't have any pain, well, it's like, dang, what are we operating from? Right?
100%.
So like seriously, man, I respect the hell out of you. Like it is very commendable. And I know a lot of other people do as well. Right. But okay. I guess what's the long term vision for Noveris Global? How big do we really want to get this?
I want to I want to be a growth partner in my niche, which is the medical niche, that every clinic respects, and just be, the market dominator for that. Because, like, I think the problem what a lot of people have is chasing a number, chasing money. Instead of how can I deliver better results, is how can I make more money for myself. And me and you both agree. I mean, we're great friends outside of just business, and we love sharing thoughts on business, and we both agree that money should never be an incentive because money follows with greatness. Seriously.
100%.
Like, if you can deliver great results, you will get money. And it's pretty in parallel in my opinion. So I really value your way of thinking, which is seriously like no other fucking coach, consultant, whatever in the online space has, right? Which is how can we make our service so fucking good so that we don't have to really even sell, right? And I think that's kind of what I'm focused on is how can I deliver better results, not how can I make more money, right?
Mm.
And that's kind of the mindset shift I had. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason I only took on one client and stopped client acquisition entirely. Because most businesses, most agencies, most all these people, what they do is they take on a fuckload of clients and they get overwhelmed with service delivery, and they churn like crazy. And to battle the churn, they have to do more client acquisition. So they're low key like their their cash flow is from onboarding fees, right? Because like their service is shit. They outsource everything, and it just. And I think what I've been taught by you is being able to work in a business and seeing through the exact steps I have to take to make it to grow it like a proper business. In a business that actually has a moat, a business that actually can deliver insane results for your clients, right? Instead of mediocre. Because I don't want to settle for mediocrity, right? I want to settle my because I also realize like if my results are so fucking good, client acquisition is never going to be a problem because results speak for themselves. And I think that's something you've really taught me. And yeah,
Thank you for that, man. I appreciate that. Um, okay, so you did roughly what was it? I think like roughly 26K in the past 3 weeks. My question for you would be people like they try to sign five, six, seven, 8 clients just to reach that. Usually more.
yeah,
Why were you able to make that off of one client and everybody else struggles?
because of my service delivery is that good, right?
There you go.
Pretty simple, I
Simple.
think.
Pretty straight fucking forward. But how are you providing so much value that people are willing to pay you that without blinking an eye?
Because the value I give the people that I work with is significantly more than what I'm taking from them.
Yeah. So, like, and for anybody watching this, it's like for all the people that are out there charging 3 to 4K a month retainers, and you're wondering like why people won't sign with you, and it's just really really hard. Like Daniel is a perfect example why, because there's a Daniel out there that is literally like just driving themselves into the ground, working insanely hard to be impeccable at service delivery, and he will simply provide more value than you and make it so there will be absolutely no reason for them to work with you over him. And majority of those people, right, they charge monthly retainers, right? Uh, so yeah, I just think that's really interesting. I guess
I think you
what?
can go about like two paths, right?
Yeah.
You can either go in the monthly retainer. This is like what I feel like most agencies are doing. And I genuinely don't think it's necessarily right because it almost feels scammy. You
Mhm.
can take on a fuckload of clients, generate, you know, good money. But you, like I said, like you're making money off of your onboarding fees essentially and your retainer fees, and they're going to churn fast, right?
Exactly.
Like, or you can make service delivery so good that you literally don't need many clients. You can make easily 100K per month with 5 clients, right?
Exactly.
And that's the whole shift, right? And once you're able to, because an agency that is the first type of agency I mentioned can't scale. There's a hard barrier of how much you can scale, right? But the second type, which is what I'm doing, I can scale once I fully systemize and work on operations for the current service delivery of, delivering amazing results. I can scale past what, would be the ceiling for other agencies, right? And I mean, like I said, with one procedure, with one treatment for one client, I've generated them 120K
Mhm.
in 3 weeks, right? Imagine if we launch another treatment. Imagine if we get another client, right?
Mhm.
It's really about zooming out and thinking into the big picture, because most people they're too hyper focused. They're too hyper focused in how can I get this next milestone and milestone in revenue, right? And that kind of restricts them to thinking in numbers, but not looking at their business as a whole and zooming out from how can I scale beyond what I'm making right now.
100%. I think something's interesting when you have really good service delivery as well. And the hard thing is, especially when you have really good service delivery, that means the buyer seller dynamic flips, right? So it's like you were at a 9% appointment booking rate, and it's like, well, why would I need all those appointments if I'm only gonna work with one or two clients, right? But it's what happens there is now you can choose the perfect client that's worthy of working with you, right?
Of course.
And that's a huge thing when it comes to even being able to do rev share. Like it's a non-negotiable. You still need the appointment booking systems. Like, it's non-negotiable.
And it's amazing how it's like you can always relaunch it later on. It's not something you have to have constantly going on for you. Like I'm gonna relaunch my email system as soon as I finish my operations side, right?
Completely agree.
So
100%. 100%. So cool. What's our next goal in monthly revenue? And we're gonna make another one of these. And we're gonna stitch it to the end of this one. What's our next goal?
I would say we can go for a 50K. I was gonna say 100K, but we'll go for a smooth
Oh,
50K.
it's so
But
lame, dude. That's literally two clients. Not even. It's like the one client you launch another procedure. Come on.
yeah, I mean the thing is, I don't even know. Like it's a very an exponentially scaling business, right? Like with my how everything is set up for me, so it scales very exponentially. So
250K. That's what it is.
250K per month. Yeah.
250K. We'll make another video, and
By
then
that time, you'll have a mastermind, and we'll be in fuck somewhere in Europe,
oh yeah,
and yeah, it'll
let's
be a
do it
it'll be a in person
in person.
testimonial.
In
Yeah.
person, not this online bullshit. 100%.
Yes, sir.
Completely agree. All right, brother. Well, thank you for your time, and yeah, we'll see everybody, and when we're at 250K, give it like
100%.
give it 6 months. Give it 6 months. We'll see.
6 months.